good as it's gonna get, I think.
This is hard, guys.
Our first sit down video together and I'm sweating. Okay.
Let me have a drink first here.
Are you comfy?
Get a bit over.
Bossy. The recycling is just peeping out.
You sit so close. You almost sit on me. Or what are you? What are you
adjusting
doing?
your shirt? It was kind of like this, showing your nipple.
This is already 3 minutes long and we haven't done anything. And you're getting closer again.
Sorry.
Have a tiny bit of one book of a gap. Welcome back to another video, another week, another day. Should have like a thing that comes
song.
in right now. This video is going to be about the differences between Switzerland and Canada.
So for those of you guys that don't know, I'm from Canada, and this is my husband, obviously Chris, and he's from Switzerland. And we've been living in Switzerland for the past 7 months. And so we thought it'd be super fun to do this video because I feel like if you grow up in a certain country, you think that that's just how life is. That's how everybody else does it. Yeah. But as soon as we started dating and sharing about the differences in our cultures, and then when I moved here, I realized, oh, they're quite actually different. There's a lot of differences between Switzerland or Canada, or Switzerland and I think you could just say North America, because Canada and America, very similar. We made a list, so we're gonna share them. Some of them are super random, some of them are more obvious. Some of them, I feel like you'd have to live here in order to actually notice it, you know?
Yeah. So let's get right into it.
So the first thing is obvious, and that's language. So obviously in Canada, we speak English, and then we have a second language that's French, but the majority of Canadians don't speak French.
So in Switzerland, we actually have not 1, not 2, not 3. We have 4 official languages, which make everything a bit difficult. Biggest part is German, especially Swiss German. And then down southwest, we speak French. And then really in the south, we speak Italian. And then there's a small part who speak Romansh, which is a pretty old language. Not many people speak it anymore.
We live in the German part, so that's what we experience the most. So the next thing that I think sets Switzerland apart from probably most other countries is the cost of living. Canada, I would say it's fairly low, fairly average. And when I moved to Switzerland, I was shocked with how expensive everything was.
Everything is expensive here.
I'm talking everything.
Yeah, it is. And I think we probably will do in the future a whole video on that, on what everything costs. For example, a meal at McDonald's is like 15 francs, which is like 18 Canadian dollars. Water is more expensive than actually beer if you go to a grocery store. Yeah. The next thing, it was normal to me, but if you go to the States or somewhere else, it's like...
It's not normal.
It's not normal. But you pay for parking wherever you go.
Everywhere.
Every grocery store.
IKEA. Shopping malls.
Yeah, you pay, especially in the city, it's even more expensive. Like you can pay up to like $3, $4, $5 just for an hour. And that is pretty crazy.
I definitely wasn't used to that. Except for maybe in downtown, some parkades you have to pay. But if you're just going to the grocery store, you don't have to pay. But here, it's pretty much everywhere. If you take your vehicle somewhere, you have to think about paying for parking.
Then the next thing, which is huge, and I know it was for you pretty hard to get used to it, I feel, that our shops or our stores, they close maybe at 7 in the evening every day. On Saturday, they normally close 2 hours earlier, so normally around 5. And on Sunday, everything is closed. Everything.
Except gas stations.
Yeah, so if you really, really need something, you drive somewhere to a gas station, which are normally not that close. You can't go to a normal store on Sunday because literally everything is closed.
It's very different because, you know, in Canada and in North America, you know, Walmart is open 24/7. So it's 1 o'clock in the morning, you're craving ice cream, just go over to McDonald's and get some. Here, that's not the case. And when we first moved here, especially with the whole Sunday thing, everything being closed on Sundays, I thought it was going to be like a lot bigger of a problem than it actually is. Once it becomes a part of your normal life, it's not a big deal. But definitely when I first moved here, I was like, what? Everything's closed so early and on Sunday? So Yeah. So another huge difference between Switzerland and Canada is the public transportation system. Where I come from in Canada, it is not awesome at all. Like most people have a car, most families have at least 2 cars even, just because traveling places by bus or by train takes so much longer because there isn't the accessibility, and our public transportation system just is not awesome. So most people have cars, whereas here, I feel like the amount of people that have cars is way lower.
Because you just take the train or the bus everywhere you go. If you work in a different city, you take the train in the morning. I know a lot of my friends don't have a car. They don't even have a license to drive a car, which is crazy.
And it's pretty awesome because you can really get anywhere using the public transportation. So
another big thing is the whole topic of alcohol.
Yeah, alcohol.
And I've never really realized that, but here alcohol is everywhere.
Yeah.
And you can really get it everywhere. Like, for example, you can get a beer at McDonald's. Yeah. And you can drink it on the way home. You can drink it on the bus. You can drink it on the train. You cannot drink it in your car. And drinking age starts with 16. With 16, you can start to get beer. It's pretty different.
Yeah, that's very different than in, at least Canada. Depending on what province you're in, it's usually 18 or 19 you can start drinking. And you definitely cannot drink in public anywhere. If you do, you can get a ticket or get arrested. So yeah, that was weird to just see people walking around with like a bottle of beer on the train. I was like, that's not allowed. And I realized, oh no, that's totally acceptable. So
one really cool thing about Switzerland, if you want to change a law, if you don't like a law, or if you want to come up with a new law, you can start a petition. You just need to get 50,000 signatures, and then it will go to like the government, and the government decides if this is actually accurate, if this is good. And then it comes to the people of Switzerland and we can vote. So that's why we have many votes during the year.
Yeah. Whereas in Canada, you can petition for things, but it's not as easy as petitioning and then it goes to a vote. It's a lot longer process than that, and it's a lot harder to change the law, especially just as like a citizen. So that's really cool, and I think super unique to Switzerland. I don't know if any other countries do that, so pretty cool. So if you ever look at Switzerland on the map, especially compared to America or Canada, you'll notice that it's like teeny tiny. Oh, yeah. And so that's a huge thing, is that especially for me moving from living on the prairies where it's super wide open, it's like 3 hours to the next big city. Canada's just very big and there's a lot of land. And so as opposed to Switzerland and just Europe in general, everything is a lot smaller and a lot closer together. You can drive 3 hours and be in France, like be in a totally different country. Yeah. And in Canada, you drive 3 hours and you'd still be in the same province. So that's really different.
With that, the people are different too, how they see this whole thing. Yeah. Like for us, if a concert is 1 hour away, we're like, oh, that is so far.
Ooh, I don't know.
For a concert, when I hear people from the States and stuff, they're like, oh yeah, I drive 7 hours for that concert. Yeah. And that is just super different.
But it's also awesome because you can travel so many places in Europe really easily because everything is really close. So.
Yeah. The next point is Switzerland is super safe.
Really?
Safety is really big in our country. That's why many celebrities live here, because people leave them alone. That is just a Swiss thing. We leave people alone. And I remember we had a World Cup of hockey in Switzerland, and the US team said this is the only place they don't need bodyguards for their team or security.
That's crazy, yeah.
Because it's so safe here.
Not that Canada and North America isn't like quote unquote safe. I think compared to a lot of countries, it is safe, but we do tend to be a lot more protective and, you know, locking your doors. And, you know, I feel like here I never think about, oh, am I unsafe? Am I not even walking around at night? And one of the biggest, I think, indications of this, especially when we first moved here, I noticed all of these young kids walking like around, walking home from school on their own. And I'm talking like 5, 6 years old, like young kids. And I'm like, where are their parents? And Chris is just kind of like, no, it's normal that they'll walk home by themselves. Yeah. And I feel like in Canada, like that would never happen with kids that young. And so just seeing that, I'm like, okay, it's obviously relatively safe here that young kids are able to just walk around and parents feel okay with that.
And I don't want to say like we don't have like places where your kids should walk by themselves. Yeah. You have that everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
But it is a pretty safe place.
Overall.
Yeah, overall.
It's really safe.
So the last thing and the biggest thing about Switzerland that we want to talk about is the people.
Yeah.
So Swiss people are really, what is the word? Preserved?
Reserved.
Swiss people are different than I think any other people.
You think than other Europeans
yes,
too?
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
Swiss people are really reserved.
Yeah.
They keep it to themselves.
Yeah.
And that's why what we talked before with like all these celebrities that live here, they say like, yeah, people leave them alone. And that is really Swiss. Swiss people is like, I mind my own business. I don't care what you're doing.
Yours. Yeah.
You mind yours, I mind mine.
Definitely.
And so I feel like even for you, it's super hard to find friends here.
Yeah.
First of all, you probably need to prove to them for the next 7 years that you're gonna be their friend. People are like, yeah, I have my life. I live in my little bubble in my comfort zone, and we don't really like to get out of our comfort zone. We don't really like to leave that comfort zone.
Actually, I think the older generation are very much like, this is the Swiss way, this is how you do it, it's our way or the highway. And I don't think it's that Swiss people aren't nice. Swiss people are super friendly, super generous, like they're really nice. But coming from Canada where everyone is super open, you pass someone on the street, you smile, you say hi, and you have small talk with people. So you're standing in line at the grocery store, you know, you'll start talking to the person next to you. That's very Canadian. That's very much in Canadian culture. Here it's very much like, no, you get through and you keep to yourself. And so I think for me at the start, it was like, oh, people are really rude. Like nobody wants to talk to me, like, you know, but really it's just the culture of people just being more to themselves. And I think maybe that's even how they show respect, by not being in people's business. Yeah. You know, so that is a big difference that I noticed coming from Canada.
And I don't want to say there aren't people that are the opposite, but I think
it's true.
But there are some people that are really open, that are really want to meet people. Yeah. But I think that's really
in general.
In general.
Yeah. Is that everything?
That's it.
That's great. So that's a wrap. We made it through. We didn't kill each other.
Almost. I already had a name.
No. Oh my god.
If you have some more questions about Switzerland or Canada that you would really like to know, let us know in the comments below. Ask us anything. We would love to answer your questions. Don't forget to subscribe. I think it's down here.
Don't forget to subscribe. Or is it here? No, here.
It's here.
Don't forget to subscribe. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you like it. And yeah, if you want us to do more videos about Switzerland, living abroad, anything like that, we would love to know what you guys want to see. So that's going to be everything for today. We hope that you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye. Good job.
Is that good? I'm so sweaty.
You are? Why?
Woo, I don't know. Nervous.
I have a tiny Swiss flag in my wallet like this.